Morning, it is Sunday, it is real, it is raw. It is time to talk about how you don't make time for yourself. And I've been talking to so many successful professional women, single, in relationships, with kids, without kids. And I wanted to talk to you about the one shift, the one belief you can shift that will open up to possibility that you start making yourself a priority. Because here's what happens when we don't take care of ourselves, right? We end up with a never-ending list of stuff that we need to do. We believe that everyone else in our world, that their needs are more important than ours. For real. We believe that nobody else can even do things as well as we do. So we just tell ourselves it will take more time for us to ask someone else to do it for us. We then end up expending so much energy. We get burned out. We get overwhelmed. We feel like the very magic inside of us has been like sucked out. And when the weekend comes or we have any kind of holiday or break, what I want you to understand is you're not even really enjoying that. What you're doing is you're recovering. And for me, when I had that epiphany that my off time wasn't time where I was being in joy or being present or really savoring this one precious life, that I was just kind of recovering, and I looked at those recovery behaviors, I knew that things had to change, because that never ever making yourself a priority over time can literally like rob you of the magic that is a life that is fully lived, right? Of being your authentic self, of enjoying life, having fun, having an impact, having freedom. When we don't take care of ourselves, when we constantly fall to the bottom of the list, here's what I see happening: health problems, lots of problems, not exercising, overeating, feeling like we don't want to eat healthy, or we don't want to exercise or go for a walk because we deserve to eat candy and just chill and veg and watch TV or scroll. We put off doing the things that are the whispers of our soul, the things that we really want to do that will bring us joy. We totally jump into being a victim of our circumstance. We feel like we don't choose how life happens to us, rather than understanding that it's how we happen to a situation that is really what makes the quality of our life. So we just feel like trapped, that everyone else is letting us down, that we're right, they're wrong. They might be to blame, but we just become victims of circumstance and our choices. Also, here's the thing. We end up, by doing this, we train the people in our lives to treat us this way, to be dependent on us, to not be self-sufficient, to not take responsibility. And so it actually gets worse over time. And in all of that, we lose ourselves and we don't even know who we are anymore. And that's that robbing ourselves of our life. We're here, but we're not here. What is the belief that I want for you to start testing, right? To start considering? Because the old belief is, right, that I'm not a priority, right? That the needs of my husband, my children, my boss, my committee, my foundation, my insert whatever, my friends, right? That their needs are more important than mine. That situation is more urgent than taking care of myself. And here is the big takeaway. Once you get this, you can start to look at everything through a different lens. So here it is. Your needs are as important as everyone else's. Now, listen to that carefully. I didn't say they're more important. This isn't about being selfish or being a narcissist or any of those things. They're not less important, right? You're smart. You know that your needs are important. But this is the nuance for really successful, smart women. And that is that your needs are as important as everybody else. And so when you're in that reality that your needs are as important as the project, as your husband, as your kids, as making lunch, as having playtime with them, as working overtime, skipping your workout, right? You take responsibility and you start to understand that there are competing needs going on, because it allows you to be radically honest with yourself and others. We both have needs. Yours are as important. And when you start to get radically honest and you take responsibility and you say to yourself or to the other person, or you look at the situation with this lens, radical honesty allows you to be empowered. When you're honest with yourself and you're honest with others, you are laying in the foundation. You are planting seeds to have a meaningful and fulfilling life, because you are expressing the essence of who you are. Like, you're expressing your soul. When we're honest, when we can take responsibility, even if it's so uncomfortable, if we think people are going to not like us, or they're going to be mad, or we're going to disappoint, when we take responsibility, when we express our need, we feel resonance. There's like a ping. Even though there's pain, it feels true, it feels right. So from this place, we can now start to look at, how am I going to make decisions moving forward with this new belief? My needs are as important as yours, right? As the other things that are going on in my life. So when there are other people that are involved, this requires negotiation and problem solving. And when you start to say, I already know how the other person's going to react, you are disrespecting that person by not giving them the opportunity to be a grown-up. You might be right. They might be a jerk. Doesn't kind of matter. It's not about them. It's about you, right? And if the person will not negotiate with you or have a conversation about how you can compromise in getting each of your needs met at some point in a way that works for both of you, then you get to set boundaries and start to make choices. From the belief, remember, that your needs are as important. So if your needs are as important, then why wouldn't you advocate for yourself at least some of the time? There's a really powerful story I heard. It's famous, about a Holocaust survivor named Viktor Frankl. And it was at this moment where he had lost everything and all he had left was this ring, his wedding ring, on his finger. And this Nazi was like, all right, I'm taking this ring, right? And Viktor Frankl smiled. And the Nazi soldier was like, I'm taking, literally, you're naked, your family is gone, you have nothing left. How could you smile? And in this story, he said, you can take everything from me, but you can never take away my choice. And so when you have competing needs, when you have the belief that my needs are as important as yours, then it's up to you to make a choice. And are you going to make a choice that allows you to be an action of self-love and the vision that you have for better health, for more joy, for more time, for more spaciousness? Or are you going to continue to choose comfort and convenience over courage? Because that's really what it's about. Number 2, I call this the monarch method. It's because the idea was inspired by a conversation in the TV show, The Crown. In the show, they're talking about, do you respond to something that's happening in the world? And so the questions that you start to ask yourself, right, there might be competing needs. So then you start to make these decisions. And here's some questions you can ask to start making better, empowered decisions that are resonant with the true you being expressed. So number 1 is, do I need to do this thing right now? Is this deadline real or is it self-imposed? I'm writing deadlines, and I was freaking out and punishing myself and like, oh, I was feeling so conflicted. And then I wasn't being with my family because I was in my head about my deadline. So I was like, all right, monarch method, right? And so I thought, like, does it need to happen right now? And I realized these are self-imposed deadlines. I have a bigger deadline, but that is so far off in the future. This is my perfectionism. This is me having the illusion of a deadline, and I have to act in alignment with my values. My value is family and connection in this moment. So the answer to, do I need to do it right now, is no, I don't. Number 2, must I be the one to do it? Now, I'm going to tell you another little story. Necessity is the mother of invention. And while I was doing my semester abroad living in Portugal and I was working evening hours, my husband kind of had to cook. I had always thought that if I wanted to eat healthy, because he doesn't like to cook and he would whinge and whine about it, that I would just do it. I was kind of a victim about it, to be honest. And during this time, like, it was like I was working. There was like one window of time to eat. He wanted to eat. I wanted to eat. We didn't want to eat at 10:30 at night. And so he cooked. And you know what? He got better and better over the 2 months. And it hit me, right? Like, how many times do we sell ourselves? Does our ego say, like, you're the only one can do it? Because when we tell ourselves that no one else can do it, we are getting our ego involved. And also, we are in a place of having to control. We're not allowing someone else to learn or step in. So you can ask yourself, must I be the one to do it? Can you delegate it? Can you hire it? It might not be as the same way you would do it exactly, but could it be good enough to propel you forward? And then finally, does it need to be done at all? In my experience over the last 2 years of simplifying my life, there have been so many things that I realized don't need to be done at all. So what are the systems, processes, what are the things you have in place that are old that actually you could eliminate or change or shift or make more simple? Do I actually need to do this? What's the story I have around that? Am I in resistance because I don't want change, because I don't want to let go of control, because it sets me up to be the victim and that makes me feel better? So finally, the last thing is, with this new belief that my needs are as important as yours, is have to be an action of that new belief. We work through these steps that I just elaborated. We get accountability, a support system, a mentor. We start asking really good questions from this place of radical honesty, right? We question our beliefs, we question our timelines, we question our deadlines. And when we do this, we start to be able to do experiments to see what it would look like if we make these adjustments, knowing that an experiment is just that. It's an experiment. We're exploring. And we're exploring from a new belief that my needs are as important. We take on a new identity. We take on new aligned action. And then we assess, how did it go? And we continue to make adjustments. And from that place, we're in creation in our life rather than stagnation. And creation is another part of what gives our life meaning, because we're empowered. I hope this is helpful. Put in the comments what resonated, what's a new aligned action. And I hope for you that you start to practice understanding and believing and being from a place that your needs are as important as everything else, where you get to be the person you truly are. All right. Mwah. See you soon.